Danny Flexen from SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by Michael McKinson, Unbeaten, welterweight, of course. And first of all, I just wanted to ask you, do you feel you don't get quite as much publicity and you're not talked about quite as much as some of the other welterweights, especially that you're only 26, you're unbeaten, you've barely lost a round?
Yeah, I believe I don't get enough recognition. I'm third in the UK, above quite a lot of names that get a lot more publicity than me, a lot more mentions than me as well. Like, obviously, I've had to do it the hard way to be where I am, but I believe I should be in a position now where my name should be mentioned alongside them boys. You know, the only two people in the UK above me are Josh Kelly and Amir Khan.
And do you get, have you been nominated by the board for any eliminators or anything like that?
Not really. Like every single opportunity I've got in my career, like it's been every opportunity that I've been given and I've been asked for. So I've took everything, like from my first one all the way up to my last. You know, I believe I want to push on now. Like I've obviously won the WBO European, then I beat the WBO Latino champion as well, who was ranked number 6. So I'm ready to just keep moving forward and keep moving on.
Is it a shame in a way though that you're probably going to have to bypass the British title now because you have got a WBO top 10 ranking, you've beaten some of the top domestic performers, but you've not been nominated for a welterweight title shot here in Britain?
Yeah, I think I would have beat Chris Jenkins 18 months ago. That's how confident I am. And now, obviously, I'm ranked higher than him. I've been ranked higher than the British champion for like a year now. So like, I believe I was ready for that 18 months ago. But it doesn't matter. Obviously, welterweight's the most popular weight class there is. It's like the biggest competition out of all the weight classes. So you just got to take whatever opportunities you can get. Obviously, I'm with MTK Global, which are like a massive platform to be able to get them opportunities. So if I carry on doing my job correct, then them opportunities will come.
Are you surprised that one of the major promoters hasn't picked you up yet? Obviously, you've got a massive management company behind you, but I would have expected a Matchroom or a Queensberry to have picked you up by now.
Yeah, well, I was looking. I think it was a month or two ago when I was in camp for that last fight, and I was having a look, and out of every single weight class, from flyweight to heavyweight, I'm the highest ranked British fighter that's not on any of them platforms.
Yeah.
And that's a fact, like, because I went through it all and everything. So it is just a matter of time, you know. Like, it's got to happen because I am beating these guys with ease. Like, there's only been one fight where I didn't have it my own way, and that was just for like because I didn't prepare the right way, you know. There's one fight out of 18 fights. Other than that, I've been in like 6 50-50 fights and come through quite easily.
You've done it on the road a fair bit as well. You beat Ryan Kelly, obviously, in Swindon, Sammy McNess in East London. You're obviously not afraid of going into the Lion's Den. Is that through necessity that you've had to build that way?
Yeah, obviously I've had to do it the hard way, and it came the first time. It's Ryan Martin, not Ryan Kelly, in Swindon, and
Ryan Martin, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I remember him from like the schoolboy days and the junior ABAs and that. He was like the best lad our age. He used to knock kids out unconscious at like 12, 13 years old. He was one of them. And we took the fight because I was 10-0, and I always perform against better opponents anyway. We took the fight. We were confident. We went to Swindon into the Lion's Den and absolutely put on a masterclass. So I prefer that added pressure. I perform a lot better under that added pressure. So like, if anything comes, like, as well as the McNess fight, we went into East London. He was the favoured like fighter, and we done a job on him as well. So I actually prefer that. I prefer going away and ripping it from them.
I apologise for getting my Ryans mixed up. Obviously, you've beaten both of them, so I just got the surnames mixed up briefly. Tell us a bit about how you first got into boxing and your amateur career as well.
Yeah, so my dad's obviously Michael Ballingal, who's a professional trainer and manager. Yeah, so I was born into a boxing family. Like he had a few amateur fights, and he used to always take me down to like local amateur gyms, and he used to teach me from home from like the age of 5, 6 years old. And it was always me. Obviously, Lucas Ballingal's my brother, but it was always me that was the boxer from a very early age. And as soon as I was old enough to compete, I had my first amateur fight like a week after my 11th birthday, you know. So I was all, and then how Lucas got into it is actually coming to these gyms, watching me spar. And then one day he got asked, like, do you want to come and join in and spar? we didn't even know if he was any good, and that's how he got into it. And then from there, we've both just boxed our whole lives.
Where do you get your style from? Have you watched certain people? Have you got influences, or is it just a natural style from when you started as a kid?
As an amateur, I was always very slick. I didn't really get much success in the amateurs. I got to a NABC final and a load of semi-finals. I was always a slick southpaw. I was a bit lazier as an amateur, but I was training with the pros from a very early age, like from like 15 years old, and I was always very elusive. I didn't like getting hit, and I had all the skills there, and it's just developed from there, really. Obviously, I've took it into the pro game, and I'm getting a lot more success as a pro than I did as an amateur.
Do you think your record fails to reflect the power you've got?
Definitely. Definitely. Like in my training camps, you could see that I have got strength there. I do drop quite a few lads. And in my fights as well, I've dropped quite a few of my opponents. Yeah, there may be flash knockdowns and I'll put them off balance and that, but I do drop them. But every single fight I've had, I'm moving up the ladder quite quickly. I'm not staying at the same level. So these guys are getting harder and harder. Like they're just getting more solid opponents, you know. So if I was to stay at the same level I was last year, I'd be knocking these guys out. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter because people look at my record and say I'll punch like a fairy, and then when I'm in there with them, it's a different ball game.
What's the future hold for you? Because you are edging towards that WBO top 5 now. Is that the route you're planning to continue going down, aiming for that WBO title eventually?
Yeah, well, obviously, I was ranked by the WBC because I had like 4 WBC top fights. And they didn't rank me that high. And then I was ranked by the WBO.
Why you gave the WBC international silver up, because it didn't seem to boost your ranking that much.
Yeah, I was ranked last year. This time last year, I was ranked 15th by the WBO. Like, they recognised me. And Freddie Kawit was the champion, the WBO European champion. So we tried getting that fight. And he chose not to fight me. He didn't want to fight me. So he got stripped of the bout and I fought for the vacant bout. And that's how that came about. Obviously, I boxed the Russian and then I boxed a higher ranked WBO Latino champion. So, like, hopefully we can keep pushing up that rankings. But obviously, there's going to be other opportunities that come. As long as the money's right now for me, because like, I've had 18 fights, I haven't earned a lot of money out of boxing yet. As long as the money's like right for me, we'll take whatever opportunity there is, because I think I can go a long way. I haven't really shown that I can't go a long way yet. Every fight I've developed and I've learned a lot more, and like I've gave a better performance than the time before. You know, like my last performance against that Argentinian was one of my best performances, I believe. So I'm still developing quite quick.
Is it a concern, though, that you'll get to really high up in those rankings and then you'll have to fight someone like a Terence Crawford, for example, without having been tested at a similar level beforehand? A bit like Anthony Yarde stepping up to Sergei Kovalev with a bit more experience, he might have won that fight.
Yeah, I'm a long way from them type guys now, but being in those WBO rankings, they are going to be hard fights now, and they are going to be big fights and learning fights. So who knows where I'll be in 2-3 years' time, you know? Like that. That's why we're in boxing, to get them big fights, to change our families' lives. So like I would 100% like want to fight like that.
Tell us about your family. Are you married? Have you got kids?
No, I have a daughter. She's 3.
I'm hoping you're in her room now and it's not yours.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, I'm back at my mum's for the isolation, so I'm in the spare room. It's basically her room here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How old is she?
So I've got a daughter. She's 3. So now it's getting expensive. So we need these big fights. We need to start filling up the bank account because girls are more expensive than boys, especially when they get older. So, and she's a daddy's girl as well. So
yeah, you're definitely gonna have to open that wallet a few times in the next few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, say we interview you again in a year's time. I'm sure it won't be that long, but just for argument's sake, where do you expect to be 12 months' time?
Well, this year's been very slow, obviously. I'd still like to fight twice this year. I was due to fight Lewis Green a few weeks ago, who was the number 4, which is a big fight. That would be a statement made, really, because I'm number 3, he's number 4. I'll put on a good performance against him. Then I'm not a joke, really, and I am a threat in the welterweight division. But at first, when I wanted something a bit higher and a bit more like a bigger fight than the Lewis Green fight, and nothing came about. So we took the Lewis Green fight. I believe I'd 100% beat him quite comfortably, and then moved on. So if something else bigger comes after that, then I would take that. But if nothing comes about, then we'll do a job on Lewis Green when it gets rescheduled for whenever. And then the next one has to be something big, and I won't settle for anything less.
Brilliant. And before we let you go, just for people that don't know about you, probably because you haven't had that coverage that you deserve just yet, let them know how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm Mikey The Problem on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter a lot, but Mikey The Problem on Instagram. I'm on there quite a lot. Michael McKinson on my Facebook pages as well. I use them quite a bit. I use Instagram quite a lot. So yeah, follow me and follow the journey.
Brilliant. Well, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll catch up properly once all this is over.
Yeah, brilliant. Shout out to my dad, Michael Ballingle.
You'll appreciate that. Cheers, mate. Take care.
Yeah. See you later.
See you.